Okay, so what if you could pit every single age, from 1 to 100, against each other in a series of wild challenges, all to find out who's truly the best? Well, that's the absolutely incredible premise of the experiment we're diving into today.
It really all boils down to this one single question. What is the prime age of humanity? This massive, kind of chaotic competition was designed from the ground up to try and find a real answer.
To do it, they brought together 100 different contestants. Literally, a person for every single age, from a 1-year-old all the way to a 100-year-old, all set to compete in the exact same events. I mean, you can't get a more level playing field than that, at least demographically. And, to make sure everyone was giving it their absolute all, $250,000 was on the line for the winner. With a prize that big, you can bet every single person was there to win. The motivation was definitely there.
But here's the thing. This wasn't just a series of random, crazy games. All that chaos had a very specific purpose, a goal that turned it from just a competition into something way more interesting.
The host of the whole experiment really put it simply. The entire thing, every challenge, was designed with one mission, in order to find out what is the prime age of humanity. So the experiment kicked off with this absolutely brutal phase. It was designed to just slash the massive group down to a more manageable size. This was all about mass survival of the fittest.
First up was a foot race. The rule was simple. Only the top 5 from each decade moved on. Right there, the field was cut in half, just like that. But then came the real chaos. A massive game of dodgeball where entire age groups could be knocked out together as a team.
And the result of that dodgeball game was just staggering. Every single contestant over the age of 39 was eliminated. Gone. In one swift, chaotic game, the entire older half of the competition was just wiped out. Probably because, the game really favored the raw agility and reaction time of the younger groups.
Okay, so with the numbers thinned out, the challenges started to shift. They went from just mass elimination to more nuanced tests of skill and will that really required teamwork, a bit of strategy, and of course, individual endurance.
The dunk tank relay was a perfect example. It was this complex, multi-stage race that involved archery, swimming, and even construction. It was a true test of coordination and performing under pressure, and for the last 2 teams to finish, it was game over.
Next up, things got personal. A one-on-one soccer shootout. But here was the twist. The youngest contestants got to pick who they faced. So right away, you've got this fascinating layer of strategy and psychological warfare thrown into the mix.
And this is where you start to see these incredibly human moments. After a really tough loss, the 17-year-old contestant said this, a really poignant reminder of the different perspectives every single age brought to the game. The next challenge was just pure grit. Competitors had to hold a rope that was attached to a weight, starting at 10% of their body weight, and every 5 minutes, more weight was added. The only rule? Don't let go.
As this brutal challenge wore on, the youngest contestant left, who was just 7 years old, found himself in the final 4. And his exclamation just captured this unbelievable David versus Goliath situation perfectly. I'm a 7-year-old and I'm against 3 grown men.
So all of this led to a final confrontation that, nobody could have predicted. It pitted 2 wildly different contestants against each other in front of this huge stadium crowd.
The final 2 couldn't have been more different. On one side, you have a 28-year-old athletic powerhouse, and on the other, the 7-year-old underdog who somehow survived against all odds. The crowd, well, they made their favorite pretty clear, booing the 28-year-old and just cheering like crazy for the kid.
To level the playing field, the final challenge was really smart. It was designed to test both skill and just pure luck. Each contestant had to make a penalty kick and then choose one of 10 briefcases. Only one had the prize. This completely removed any physical advantage.
And despite all the boos from the crowd, the 28-year-old revealed his motivation. See, his wife was graduating that very same day, and he was competing to pay off her student loans. He was doing it all for her.
After a super tense final round, a winner was finally crowned. But did the experiment actually answer its own question? It's time for the verdict.
On the surface, the answer seems pretty simple, right? The 28-year-old won. So is that it? Is 28 the prime age? Well, the data suggests it's just a little more complicated than that.
Officially, yeah, the 28-year-old was the last one standing. He took home the $250,000 prize after a really dominant physical performance. But does winning this contest really make 28 the prime age?
The full story is so much more complex.
When you really look at it, the key takeaways tell a much richer story. Sure, peak athleticism seems to be in the late 20s and early 30s, but youth? It brought this surprising resilience and some really clever strategic advantages. And with the final game coming down to pure luck, the fact that a 7-year-old outlasted 98 other people is maybe the most stunning result of the whole thing.
And you gotta love this. For his unbelievable effort, the 7-year-old didn't go home empty-handed. His incredible second-place finish was rewarded with $10,000. What a fantastic end to an amazing journey for him.
So this whole thing leaves us with a final thought. I mean, if a 7-year-old can outlast a 70-year-old in an endurance test, and a 28-year-old wins it all on what's basically a coin flip, maybe Prime isn't a single age at all. Maybe it's this unique mix of strength, resilience, wisdom, and yeah, a little bit of luck that we all have no matter how old we are.